Appreciate it. Where did you come up with these stories? I don't know all the time, but he does. But I sure appreciate it. Thank you again for letting me come here. I believe this is my second or third year coming to talk to student teachers that are finishing up their student teaching, getting ready to go into the job field. This culminates everything that you've worked for over the past 4 or 5 years, correct? This is it, going out and getting that job. I can tell you this, as an employer, as a school district employer, for us, you know, you think you'll go to these job fairs and you're going to see hundreds, if not thousands, of applicants, not only from this campus, from all other state or out-of-state campuses. This is a big job fair on campus here that you have here, as they are throughout the state that we go through that week. And we go to all those, as many schools do throughout the state. As much as that is important to you, let me give you a little different perspective. As a school district, there is nothing more important to us than that time when we offer you a job. That is the most critical, pivotal point in our employment process, in the lifeblood of our district, and more importantly, for the good of our students. It is critical for us. So just don't take that so lightly. It's so important for us because we look at it this way. Once we offer you a position, that's a lifelong commitment we're making. And we're not only investing probably over $1 million in you over the life of your career within our district, including salary benefits, continuing education, all that other stuff that you're going to get, insurance, but more importantly, the safety and security of our students and helping them learn and grow. That's our being. That's our purpose. And there's nothing more critical for a district at that point of offer to that candidate. Because we are making a commitment and we are entrusting you that you can do those things with our students. So in that realm, when you look at that, it's very competitive. Last year I had 23 positions in our district at Mattoon Community Unit School District. I had over 1,200 applications for 23 positions in our district. Not unlike most districts throughout the state that we run in that situation. So it is a competitive market when you go out there. My whole purpose to talk to you this morning is to give you some ideas about those interviewing tips that you can utilize in your first interview that you go through for positions, things to know. And every district looks for something different. I mean, we all do market ourselves a little bit differently, and we recruit a little bit differently to one another, and it's competitive for us too because we want the best people for the position. But in doing that, there's some genuine things that we all look for in interviews, and if you get that opportunity to make that interview, that is very powerful and says a lot about you as a candidate and an individual, and things you need to know. How many of you have been through an educational interview before? Okay, quite a few, maybe a little less than 10%. So how many with you? How many of this coming up this spring and this summer is going to be the first time you're going to interview for positions within a school with your certificate, endorsements, credentials? Right. And looking at that, I have some tips that I've outlined for you, and I'll go through some of these. I won't go through all of them verbatim, but there's some good things to know. And I'll, at the end of this, I'll open it up for some questions so that you can ask that, and I can share with you my experiences and kind of give you some ideas and hopefully help you prepare for some of these things. And at any time that I'm presenting some of this information, don't hesitate to ask me a question, okay, because that's important. If you're not clear in what I'm projecting or stating out there, please ask me to reiterate or clarify, as I will. But again, let's start from just base one. You have these job fairs coming up. Go to them, folks. Go to them. It's very important. And when you go to them, have a plethora, a large amount of resumes with you, okay? And have that information, because any booth that you go to during those job fairs, you want to give that to. And if you're a booth, and if you go to these booths, and one of those booths are doing mock interviews or doing screener questions like we do, take advantage of that. Go through and get asked the questions. Experience is great in interviewing. The more, you think, oh man, if I interview a lot, that means I'm not getting jobs. Don't think that way. If you interview a lot, think of it, you're gaining experience in the interview process. It's very important, because everything that you get an hour. We give an hour for our interviews, and that's all we get to get an idea of who this candidate is for this position. And of course we do, if we're very interested, we go and do the background checks and the information and gather that stuff. But really you have that hour of time. That's it. And you think, oh my gosh, 4 or 5 years, I've worked hard at this, I'm great, my student teaching experience, my block experience, all that. We don't see that, okay? You get that hour of time. So if you get the screener questions and you go to those job fairs and they're screening you, go to those tables and you might have to wait in line a little bit, but take advantage of that because that's going to help you grow professionally and get you accustomed to the type of questions you're going to get asked in a job interview for an educational position, especially a teaching position. So go to those. Here's what I would do. Things have changed in the last 5 years drastically in human resources throughout the educational domain. I'm also a state board member on what they call the Illinois Association of School Personnel Administrators, IASPA. And we just met last week up in Schaumburg, and it's all these schools that have Department of Human Resources administrators like myself. And technology, folks. How many of you have started applications for school districts and what you're interested in? Okay, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up if those applications were online or web-based. Yeah, that's where it's going. And that, well, that's going there. That's where it's at. It's there. How many of you have a portfolio, be it a digital portfolio, CD-ROM, or sometime a website address where we can go? That's where it's at, too. I'll tell you that. Give you a snapshot of that. If you go onto our district and you put an application, we use a general ASP application site. It's web-based, all right? I would say 70% of school districts use the general ASP application system in the state of Illinois, all right, that have them, that utilize them. You fill out an application for Mattoon, and let's say you go and you fill out an application for Lyons Township. They use the same system, I believe, and with that, you don't have to fill in all that information again. You just have to change a couple of the things that pertain to that position. All that general information, your address, teaching background, credentials, all references, all stay the same because it's a web-based system. It's very global, and it saves you a lot of time too because those applications are long. Also with ours, then you can attach cover sheets, resumes, transcripts. All those things get attached to your online application. So when I look up applicants, I don't go to a hard file anymore. Oh, here's an application. I go every morning, myself, my secretary, all my administrators in my district, open up that general ASP web-based application, a resource center for us, and we look at our applicants online and all their credentials online. And if they can attach a digital portfolio, we look at that online. I can look at that at home. My administrators can look at that from their home. It's more accessible to all of us. And you think about that, and you're like, oh, that's a lot of work. And if I'm not tech savvy, get to know that stuff because think of it. It markets you. It markets you better. And if you're more accessible to get to know and have that information out there for those administrators and those districts that utilize that technology, take advantage of it. Do it. Spend the time. And what you'll find, once you'll do it, if you have to do it again, the more and more you'll find that it is used throughout many of the districts in which you're looking at and probably looking to apply. So don't be afraid to get on there and use that. You can definitely go on ours if you haven't been on our website, www.mattoon.k12.il.us to get start a job application. You can get an idea what that looks like. Go ahead and start one. It doesn't hurt, and it doesn't hurt you, and it gets you an idea of what's out there on those online applications. Well, those are some things I would strongly encourage you to think about and start doing prior to those job fairs. And yes, that doesn't defunct that you need to bring a hard copy of a resume because if someone talks to you at the job fair, they're going to make notes on that resume if they're very interested. And they're going to tell you, yeah, go online and apply in our web-based application site. But you still need to make that. They're not really going to look at that resume. They're going to wait for your application to come online. Most districts will that utilize that. Okay? So that's a little tidbit for marketing yourself to those districts. And not to say that you don't have a hard copy portfolio, and that's great. Still use that. I'm not saying get rid of that. But I would tell you that look to put that in some type of digital form if you can. Because, again, that is a way where, again, you can market yourself to a greater number of employers out there looking for positions. Okay?